Hey, welcome back. You are now tapped into another episode of iTrack. And if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos from all across the internet, and we kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. We're definitely on that Sunday flow, and as you know, on Sundays, I give you guys a brand new episode on the front, and we do a classic on the back end for all the brand new iTrack fam that have just tapped in, man. And if you are tapped in, do me a favor and smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Amazon is reportedly testing humanoid robots for performing the role of delivery workers. Artificial intelligence software is being developed that would power the robots to spring out of vans and deliver packages. An indoor obstacle course is being used for the tests at an Amazon office in San Francisco, according to the report.
I mean, and this isn't a surprise, man. If you've been tapped in with the iTrack fam, you already know I've been bringing it to you raw and uncut. AI is definitely cutting a slice out of the workspace, so you definitely want to pivot and make some moves. They honestly look like some kind of a claw of like a bear or a lion, or maybe some kind of mythical creature. But definitely let me know your best guess in the comments.
Let's file this whole feud under shocking but not surprising. You call the president on his cell phone at 6:45, he picks up.
Yeah, he picked up. Look, there's been reporting out there that the White House is working to put together a call between Elon Musk and Donald Trump to broker some kind of peace. I asked Donald Trump about that. He said he's not particularly interested in talking to Elon Musk. He said Elon wants to talk to him. He's not ready to talk to Musk, who he called a man who has lost his mind.
They have a lot of leverage over each other.
Oh, there's no question about that. Look, Elon Musk, obviously the richest man on the planet, the biggest Republican donor in the history of Republican donors. But this is, in many ways,
contracts with the government.
Yeah, but this is asymmetric. I mean, Donald Trump, to use his phrase, really holds the cards here. Donald Trump could do severe damage to Elon Musk if he were to go vindictive. And he's been remarkably restrained. There's been remarkable restraint from Donald Trump. I mean, look, Elon Musk went nuclear. You're talking about his impeachment, talking about tying him to the world's most notorious sex trafficker, all of this, and Donald Trump has been restrained. But he could go after the government contracts. He could announce criminal investigations into what Elon Musk was doing on Doge. I mean, you've seen Steve Bannon suggest he could use the Defense Production Act to try to seize parts of SpaceX. I mean, there's a lot that Donald Trump
to be deported as well.
Yeah, he also called him being deported. So look, Elon Musk is very powerful. He's also a very big target.
Take a look at Vader's breastplate. Darth Vader's breastplate displays distorted ancient Hebrew. The inscriptions are not random. They are intentional sorcery. Hollywood deliberately mimicked Hebrew to hide the message in plain sight. The first word, Ab, means father. The second corrupted word hints towards oppression or Mets. The next cluster implies rolling destruction or secret watching. The third line, ad, means eternity or witness. The final line, shalaka, means cast down or thrown away. When properly interpreted, the message reads, Father of destruction, cast down for eternity. This directly parallels Satan's biblical identity as the father of lies and the fallen ones known as Samyaza. John 8 verses 44 and Revelation 20 verses 10. Darth Vader's armor identifies him spiritually as the general of darkness. Ephesians 6 verses 12 once again describes principalities, powers, rulers of the darkness of this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. He is literally armored in mockery, imitating the high priest's holy breastplate, but twisted into a satanic version aligned with the rulers of darkness described in Ephesians 6 verses 12.
Boy, it seemed like he was doing a little bit of homework there. But do you think he was reaching? Or do you think that was mostly facts? Let me know.
Horror movies, you are creating a frequency in your body that makes trauma and adrenaline and cortisol and all of your stress hormones more natural. So you're anchoring them into your normal way of being, and you're desensitizing your body's response to them, which should be, oh, I need to do something, or I need to save myself, or I need to get out of this situation. And instead you're sitting there telling your body to just be in fear and not respond, not do anything with it. And so horror movies have had just an atrocious impact on our minds and on desensitizing us from fear, and then making our bodies think that that's normal and natural, and that then creates autoimmune diseases and all of these challenges that we're having because we're repressing our body's natural instincts to avoid fear.
Yeah, there's a few movies that'll definitely do it to you. I think the one that did it to me was Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is a monster, you know, a real monster. Now let me know, what scary movie had you traumatized after you finished watching it?
Gravity is not the result of tension, but rather the automatic result of mass slowing time and bending space according to a universal rule set. The usual rule that space bends near mass and objects follow straight paths through bent space is reinterpreted as a gradual transition between frames of reference for mass-bound components. This preserves consistency with relativistic mass increase as velocity approaches light speed. The underlying rule is that mass and time scale inversely. Their product is constant, effectively equal to 1. Light is massless and timeless. As mass increases, time slows and space curves. Gravity emerges naturally from this spectrum of mass-time behavior.
What if the devil is actually God's shadow? In the Bible, God says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. God admits he creates evil. So what if God and the devil are actually two sides of the same coin? If God is infinite, he's everything, and that includes the devil. But these aren't just ancient myths, they're metaphors for your mind. Carl Jung believed that we all have a shadow, the parts of ourselves that we deny or fear. But you can't destroy your shadow. Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. In other words, it's not all about love and light and good vibes only. Your shadow isn't necessarily evil, it's powerful. It holds your creativity, your passion, your fire, but you've been taught to fear it. Mainstream Christianity says it's sin, but what you reject doesn't just disappear, it grows stronger. The war between God and the devil is inside us, but the truth is it shouldn't be a war. Light and shadow are two halves of the same whole, and true wholeness means embracing both your light and your darkness, because honestly, who just wants to be half a person?
Hey, pure facts, man. It isn't always all good, you know, it's not always all sweet. You know, learn how to bless the highs with the lows. You know what I mean? Because as long as you're always learning, I think it's a win.
I want to sort of start at the beginning.
Yep.
Project Cirrus in 1947.
Yep.
So let's just go
chronologically. So Project Cirrus is back in the 1940s. 1947, they said, hey, what if we could steer the path of hurricanes?
Yes.
And so they basically went out and flew into the storm and dumped a bunch of dry ice, and they thought maybe that could change the path of the storm.
They thought it worked.
Well, they did briefly, and then the hurricane went the wrong way, and they realized, uh-oh, this didn't work.
So sorry, why would dry ice move anything?
Well, realistically, it wouldn't. You need a ton of it. You know, a single hurricane churns through 200 times more energy than the entirety of humanity produces. And so the idea that we can meaningfully affect the weather or meaningfully affect a hurricane, whether it be manipulating it, creating it, steering it, is apocryphal. But back then, we didn't really know that.
Our brain is a time machine. The reason why we are sentient is because the front part of the brain sees the future. Now, of course, the future doesn't exist. So how does the brain see the future? What it does is it accesses memories of the past and then distorts them a little bit. That's the key to how we think. We think on the basis of things that happened in the past, and then we tweak it. We tweak it and have alternate realities. So that's what separates us from the animals. We are sentient beings. We self-program. We have the ability to plan the future and to understand our role in that simulation of the future. We constantly obsess about this. This is what we call a college education. What is a college education worth? It allows you to simulate different futures with you in it so that you can choose a destiny for yourself.
So come to find out, even Samuel L. Jackson was confused by Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl message.
Because he did the thing with Kendrick.
Well, see, I didn't know that's what they were doing.
Didn't you?
It was kind of...
And another thing.
It was kind of trippy because when we were rehearsing, you know, we just had our clothes on.
Yeah.
You know, and I was looking at the dancers and they were doing that dance, doing the things and doing the stuff. And it wasn't until dress rehearsal.
It wasn't until he actually put on the Uncle Sam outfit till he realized what was going on. He like, oh, I'm not Uncle Sam like y'all calling me Unc. I'm like the Uncle Sam.
When I looked up and I looked on that stage and I go, oh shit, that's a flag. Yeah. And he was doing this. Oh, fuck.
I'm in the civil rights movement again.
We're being revolutionary. You know?
Oh, we sending a message. Oh, okay. Let me try to figure out what this message is before I get on live TV.
It's like, because I wasn't listening or paying attention. You know, yeah, you picked the right person, but the wrong time. And all that's like, yeah, the revolution. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, here I am again.
So for all the people who are like, you didn't understand the message, you missed the message, you didn't. Listen. Samuel L. Jackson didn't even know what the hell was going on, all right?
I always want to be on the right side of history, you know, in terms of what's going on. And sometimes it's not my choice, you know. The powers that be have decided, okay, this is who you are.
Couldn't make no critiques about the Kendrick Super Bowl. Couldn't be like, dang, I wish you would have played this song. You missed the message. Oh, I wish you would have had this. You missed the message. Like, look, I'm sending everybody this clip who has something to say.
Because, you know, me standing there going, hey, salutations. It's me, your Uncle Sam. You know, it's like, I was just, you know, this is cute. I wanted, you know, Kendrick and them hired me to do this, and my name is Sam. So I said, yeah, I'm Uncle Sam. But then I realized,
layers.
You're being put in this place for a reason, and you're dressed this way for a reason.
Nah, but seeing Samuel L. Jackson tell this story while he got his toes out, feet up, I can't.
I'm in the civil rights movement again.
We're being
Kendrick, didn't you do the thing with Kendrick? Where is he? He look like he visited Harry Potter's grandmother and getting some cookies and tea. Like, what is going on?
You know what? I like Samuel L. Jackson because he came from literally being strung out, being addicted, to being an A-list actor. You know, you never know where you're going to end up. So if you're going through a rough time right now, definitely don't give up, man. It gets greater later.
Apparently, OpenAI just got hit with a court order to preserve all ChatGPT logs, even those temporary chats that you thought were deleted forever. Thanks to copyright lawsuit, your 3 a.m. conversations are now legal evidence. Is there anyone else suddenly remembering questionable prompts?
The Antichrist dude, Abdullah Hashem. What he's saying is terrifying.
Right, yeah.
And people are like, he's the Antichrist. I'm like, he's like, I'm not the Antichrist. I'm the successor of Jesus Christ, the successor of Simon Peter, the true Pope. He's the founder of a Mahdi religion of peace and light. His quote is, personally sent by Jesus Christ to deliver the end time message. Or he is the messenger sent to the Abrahamic religion, so Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim. He openly calls on Christians to obey him in his divine authority.
Oh boy.
But they like interviewed like some of his followers, and they've witnessed him performing miracles. A couple of them that apparently he's brought people back from the dead.
Oh.
This one lady said that he literally made the moon disappear one time. And it's like, I'm not saying this it could just be a social media thing, but also be on the lookout for him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
David
yeah.
Copperfield did that too. So
he did.
it's no big deal.
But they never showed that.
Never did. No.
Yo, it's what, 7:25, something like that? The sun supposed to go down. Why is it even looking like this and up this high? First of all, it don't even look like the sun. I'm trying to tell you, this is not the sun. It ain't no way. Hell no. Hell no. To the no. That's not the sun. Something is really, really strange, y'all. Weird. That is not the sun.
The Index Tom Cruise landing in the Guinness Book of World Records tonight. This is for his new movie, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. He set a record for burning parachute jumps. He jumps from the helicopter, deploys the chute, then sets it on fire. And by the way, he did this 16 times. That's why he's Tom Cruise.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to be deploying. If this is twisted while it's burning, I'm going to be spinning and burn. I have to kick out of the twist and then ignite it within 10 seconds.
Start soaking the parachute.
We're going to submerge the parachute into the avgas, soak up the fuel, so when the parachute opens and they ignite it, it'll hold fuel and explode.
For this shot, what are we looking for? It's quite literally establish the objects in your hand and burn the parachute. The more up we're looking, the more the burn we'll get.
Yep. We're gonna be real smart. I'm not saying be risky, and we don't take risks, obviously.
So what dish?
You're gonna have to set for this and look up and ignite it.
Okay, let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, better him than me, man. That's next level crazy. I'm gonna let him have that Guinness World Record. Like, is it wild or what? Let me know in the comments.
You'll also notice the triangle manifestation is what we talk about when we refer to Jay-Z and Beyonce doing that rock diamond thing, right? Because they do the triangle. Illuminate, confirm me. I'm doing the triangle. It's the triangle manifestation to sort of channel energy through, which is why Beyonce talks about how she channels Sasha Fierce. She feels the Sasha Fierce come into her body. She's channeling a spirit through the triangle of manifestation into her body to perform. Because as you know, a lot of performers have to employ some kind of alter ego in order to perform. Now, many of the magical ceremonies, they will use invoking and banishing rituals of the pentagram, and those are meant to protect the magician as well as to dispel the spirits, to get rid of them, because you're effectively opening a portal, calling the entity through, and then you say, okay, bye-bye now, and then you got to close it behind so they don't stay in our world.
Malaysian Airlines.
So news came out
and it shows
where the plane actually went.
This plane was like notorious for like just disappearing randomly.
One person put it on the internet.
3
little like UFO looking things started circling. There was a flash and the plane was gone.
And then another angle with thermal camera came out.
Same shit.
It's the same thing.
Orbs, flash, gone.
They did end up finding the plane that was just in the sea.
So this lady says spiders know your daily routine. And if you happen to see a spider in your house, it's because you're not sticking to the daily routine. Huh? So basically what she's saying is, spiders know when you come inside the house and go outside the house. They time you, and then they come out when you're gone, and they do the shit they do. And if you happen to see a spider, that means you're on the spider's time. You heard what I just said? And my only question to that is, why am I the only person paying rent then? Because if you know my time schedule, you know when I go out the house and you utilize my house when I'm not in my house, yeah, right, you get it. Now, my next question is, how did you know that? How did you find out that spiders know our daily routine? You see, that's some information that I didn't need to know. Reason being, because I'm the type of person that I want to find shit out. And of course, just like anybody, I've seen a couple of spiders in my house, so I'm saying to myself, were they waiting for me to leave? Or was I not supposed to be there? Now, I'm watching out for spiders. I don't care about insects. Not scared of them, none of that. See them, I get rid of them. But now, I'm watching for spiders. I'm out.
Olha só que lindo. Olha só, cara, que lindo.
Your mind spins, and it spins because you're very emotional. When you get upset, your mind spins and you get sucked in, and you can't get out of your thoughts, and your thoughts multiply like crazy rabbits. And then you end up doing something wrong, and then you get upset again, and the whole process starts again, and you go down and down like a whirlpool. You have to get out of your thoughts, and you must become a different person from your thinking. So you become the thinker and the thinking. And you find if you stand back from your thoughts, you could influence what you see. Until you do that, you can't do the next thing. The next thing you have to learn to do is to learn to deal with the wickedness in people, the wickedness in your mother and father, the wickedness in authority, because authority have power, and that's confounding the whole society. You have to learn to look people straight in the eye without getting upset, because the purpose of people who upset you, they put something of their own ugliness in you, and you end up dramatizing their wickedness. For instance, if you upset me and I get mad, and then I hit you and I go to jail, you'll stand back and say, see, you get away with it.
I succeeded in making you do the evil that I wanted.
Exactly right. And you're the one that's the problem, but I'm all the one. It's the old spitball in the classroom routine. Somebody throws a spitball at you, you throw it back, the teacher always catches you and never catches the other guy.
Did you Oof, he dropped a lot of game in that one, man. I hope he picked them gems up. I do.
Paralysis can actually result from a few different kinds of things. But one of them, the most common one, is that you are shifting for whatever reason. Whether you're interacting with other beings or not, you sometimes will shift between what you consider to be the physical reality and the spirit reality. But in the mid-shift, you're not really exactly in one or the other, and you may sort of be conscious of the fact that you're sort of straddling two different vibrational realities and not understand how to move in either of them yet. That can cause what you experience and call sleep paralysis. You no longer really are exactly in the physical world, so you can't really move in that one. You're not completely in the spiritual one, so you're not really sure how to move in that one. It causes kind of a crystallization or a locking up that acts as a transitional bridge between the two. So it's a temporary state that represents that transitional vibrational shift.
And sometimes it's not, like, because usually sleep paralysis present people with something scary.
Well, that's only because their physical mind doesn't quite understand what's happening, and it sometimes can interpret the unlocking from physical reality as an actual death. It actually feels like it's being annihilated. That's not the case. Another reason why some people might be a little bit scared of it is because sometimes that transition might be happening by being in contact with other beings from other dimensions who may be helping you cross that barrier into their reality, and again you feel out of control because those other beings are more familiar with that process than you may be, and you may not have been brought up with the tools to understand how you're participating in that crossing, in that transition. So it might seem a little scary because it feels like you're out of control, even though you're not really.
What is that? Did you see that?
Anyone who doesn't think it's possible that people at the Pentagon, some people at the Pentagon believe the UFOs are the Anunnaki returning, might I remind you that we literally have an obelisk in Washington, D.C.? And we're talking about the Pentagon, the five-sided building. And not only that, there's a pentagram built into the streets of D.C. You would be surprised what some people believe.
Just about 50,000 years ago, Neanderthals had basically an empire over all of Europe and
for hundreds of thousands of years.
For hundreds of thousands of years. They had art, culture, music. They had organized warfare. I mean, can you imagine staring down the barrel of a division of organized Neanderthals coming at you?
Essentially super athletes with chimpanzee-like strength.
And speed.
And eyes so large that they think they might have been able to see nocturnally.
Just the fact that you can produce music tells me so much about your brain. We found relics and artifacts of it. Instruments, cave writing. They used needles and thread to make clothing.
That's a Neanderthal tool? Whoa, a bone flute. We used to think of them as being really stupid until they realized that their brain mass is actually larger than ours, and they were capable of language and all these different things. Like, how did we beat them?
I don't know. That is a puzzle. It's attributed to, we figured out a bow and arrow. We know that we have some of their DNA in us. When you hear, oh, we interbred with them, that's not precisely how it went down, most likely.
How are we calling anything a conspiracy in 2025? The CIA admitted to dosing people with LSD, and MK Ultra is real. UFO is being declassified by the Pentagon. It only took, 60 years and 80,000 pages to prove JFK was taken out by our own government? Hunter Biden's laptop was real, even though 51 intelligence officials told us it wasn't. The CIA admitted to putting certain substances into black neighborhoods in the 80s. They tried to get MLK to unalive himself. They've faked events to get us into wars. Fully exposed. Never happened. Weapons of mass destruction. Gulf of Tonkin. Epstein apparently unalived himself, but the cameras just happened to stop working at that time. Ghislaine Maxwell convicted of trafficking nobody to nobody. Diddy is now allegedly running trafficking rings. Bill Gates funding mosquito-released vaccines. The Lahaina fires somehow skipped all of the rich land. So to the people who are calling others conspiracy theorists, you are not protecting the truth. I think you're just uncomfortable with how much of the truth is really coming to light.
And you know what? That's pure facts. The government could come out today and give you a list of things that have been debunked, but a lot of people are just kind of stuck in one mode.
I told you the Matrix was right when it said 1999 was the peak of human civilization. Think about it. At the end of the 20th century, we had the perfect mix. Technology was exciting but not invasive. The internet was a tool, not a cage. And we still valued face-to-face connections. In the movie, they called it living in a dream world, maybe because we believed everything they told us. Civilization was living in a bubble, shielded from the ugly truths of the system. They also said, at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI. Prophetic, isn't it? Because right now we're doing just that, celebrating AI, letting it write, create, and even think for us. But here's the scary part. The more it does, the less we do. Just like they said, the moment AI started thinking for us, it stopped being our civilization and started being theirs. And here's the kicker. Evolution, Morpheus, evolution. And that line wasn't just about machines getting smarter. It's about humanity giving up control, letting the systems we created define what evolution even means. We've gone from shaping the world to being shaped by it. So where is this all heading? A society where algorithms make all the big decisions, where we're plugged into screens 24/7, living in curated realities. It's what they warned us about, but we don't even see it because we're too busy marveling at how convenient everything's become. The Matrix didn't just predict the future, it showed us the path we were already on. And the question is, do we keep walking it, or do we finally wake up? I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
The Sphinx, which is obviously one of the most amazing structures of the ancient world, the Egyptians don't talk about it. They don't know when it was built or why, and it's just odd. Imagine talking about New York and never mentioning the Statue of Liberty in your literature. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Here's why it's interesting that you brought up the Sphinx, because the Temple of the Sphinx is the best evidence that it's older than people think it is. You see the walls on the outside?
Yeah.
Those lines are a clear sign of water erosion. You don't get that kind of erosion from sand and wind. Those type of fissures are only created from water, from thousands of years of rainfall. The last time there was rain in the Nile Valley was like 9,000 years ago. So it had to be thousands of years older than that. When they first found these fissures, they were like, there's no way, there's no evidence of any culture that existed that was sophisticated that long ago. Where's the culture? Where's the evidence? Well, now they have evidence.
This has been concealed for centuries. The real purpose of the Eiffel Tower is something far beyond what you've been told. Most people believe it's nothing more than a symbol of Parisian culture or a product of the industrial era. The truth? The Eiffel Tower was designed as a massive antenna, an instrument for wireless electricity experiments, and its secrets could have revolutionized the world. The year was 1889, and the tower was unveiled at the Paris World's Fair, touted as a temporary exhibit. But here's where it gets strange. The true intent behind this engineering marvel was hidden in plain sight. Nikola Tesla visited Paris in the 1880s. During his stay, he met with Gustave Eiffel and shared his groundbreaking vision for a world powered by free, wireless energy. Tesla had already proven with his Wardenclyffe Tower that electricity could be transmitted wirelessly across vast distances. Eiffel, utterly fascinated by Kessler's revolutionary ideas, took these principles and incorporated them into the design of the Eiffel Tower. This was not just about aesthetics, this was about power, real power. During the tower's construction, strange phenomena were reported. Electromagnetic anomalies, unexplained lights, and strange sparks were seen surrounding the tower. Locals spoke of nighttime experiments, and some even claimed to have witnessed orbs of light dancing around the structure. Why hasn't this been exposed?
So apparently Nikola Tesla had a whole lot of plans before he was unalived. I wonder what life would be like now if he wasn't unalived, right? What kind of inventions? But based on how things are looking right now, I don't think big corporation would have let him get too far anyway.
Humans never meant to know.
A lot of the elites had their summer homes in Jekyll Island, including the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, and the Morgans. And there's this one like a hidden gem, the venue called the Sedon Mansion. It was built at the turn of the century by a dude who was buddies with all those guys mentioned right now. And he went on a hunting trip. He was hunting on this land that he ultimately ended up purchasing and building the Sedon Mansion, which was originally a hunting lodge, but then just turned into their Christmas home. What's so strange about it is that they had this huge wealth, and he also had 5 children, which at the turn of the century, they say if you had that kind of money and that many children, you would have like hundreds of descendants today. But they have 3 living relatives. All the wealth is mysteriously gone. Every single family member, apart from one daughter, died in that house. And they only went there for Christmas. There is something hidden there that's scary.
A Truman Show, because these people in these foreign countries have no idea, how many of the things they interact with that are effectively a movie set being constructed by the U.S. State Department and its sister influence orgs. We're up against a much actually deeper, darker problem with this USAID scandal, and as people will see increasingly, the scandals that will break open at the Pentagon and the State Department, which is that we have a Smith-Mundt problem for funding and operations. It's not just propaganda. The Blob, our foreign policy establishment, can fund groups that effectively work with prosecutors domestically, or that work at media, dual use. We give them foreign grants to do media propaganda abroad, but they operate here. Or social media censorship, to coerce foreign countries to pass foreign censorship laws that explicitly and are intended to attack U.S. social media companies and in U.S. peer-to-peer speech. So we need that protection. If we're going to keep this function at all, we need a hard firewall and absolute grotesque penalties for any violation.
Okay, if you're not ready to go for a ride, and I say this with peace and love, keep scrolling. Pentagon UFO whistleblower Matthew Brown just sent a very cryptic message to Elon Musk, and the message, I decoded it, and if I'm on the right path here, it'll make the hair on your arms raise. Let's get into it. So this post came straight from Matthew Brown's account last night, and he warns Elon that the US government already has a secret AI that can literally predict the future. He says Sam Altman betrayed Elon, and that the first public sentient AI, they were silenced. The tone of it is very urgent. It's like Elon's being pulled into something that he's not prepared for almost. I don't know. But then it does seem to get deeper. He name drops agencies like the White House, FBI, Navy, Department of Energy, and the NGA. That's the guys who track stuff from space. He mentions something called Marsupial. And allegedly, this is a Trump-era UAP briefing program, and he says that rockets are so 1947. The translation? Well, the government knows how these exotic crafts work, and they're lying about it. But then the post shifts, and this is where it gets creepy. So Matthew Brown shares a hand-drawn circle filled with strange symbols and references a word, Logith. That's not science fiction. It's from an Enochian magic, supposedly the language of angels used by John Dee to contact non-human intelligence. He then ends the post with a cryptic signature, ABORYMON, possibly a nod to a destructive intelligence from ancient texts. So now we've got a Pentagon link figure warning of classified AIs, hidden crafts, betrayal at the top of the tech world, and he layers it all with angelic alphabets and ritual symbolism. It doesn't feel like a rant. It almost feels like a signal or a warning. I don't know. Was he warning Elon, or was it maybe aimed at someone else entirely, using Elon as kind of the excuse? Drop your theories below, because this one's got layers, and I want to hear what you see that I don't. Let me know.
God was a woman. They said because in the process of evolution, the female sex is the primary sex, and it comes first. So the woman must have become before the man. And if the first human being was made in the image of God, God must have been a woman. And there's a book out now by author named Burlingstone, When God Was a Woman. Now, I began to study, and I found out that you go back and study the ancient history of Egypt, and especially the religion of ancient Egypt, and they had a Bible. I have a good English translation of it in 3 volumes in one, called The Theban Recension of the Book of the Dead. And in this, you take this Egyptian Bible and compare it with the King James Bible, which is popular among the Protestant denominations in the United States. And you study the Egyptian Bible and you study the Christian Bible. The Egyptian Bible goes back 10,000 years. The King James Bible only goes back about 300 years. The King James, I think it was about 1619. And then you study these 2 books and compare them, and you find out that the Christians took the whole Christian Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, out of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So that if you want to go to the source, don't go to King James. Go to ancient Egypt, and you've got a Bible that's 10,000 years older than anything that these Christians have.
Hey, now that's one clip you definitely got to go and do your homework on, because you know so many people want to have that conversation, but haven't brought any facts to the table. Let me know.
Baby just became the first person in the world to fix their DNA through personalized gene editing. Let me explain. Scientists use the protein directed by molecules that act like GPS coordinates to search through a cell's DNA until it finds a match and then makes a cut so they can stick in new DNA. This technology is like a text editor for genes. And this baby had one tiny error in its DNA that was causing a life-threatening disorder. So they fixed that one error out of 3 billion DNA pairs. What that means is that we can now identify the genetic markers for sickle cell or Huntington's or certain cancers, and then disable or replace them. And the sickle cell example is happening with live patients right now. If you need more optimistic science and tech stories.
They got her. They got her. I bet you guys won't guess who this is. Actually, I bet you will guess that it's Kim, like I did, but it's not. It's Kim's almost 70-year-old mother, Kris Jenner. Something's going on here. This picture is from 2020. Today? How? I want to know how. Let's look at some side-by-side so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing here. I'm kind of getting death becomes her vibes, because how in 5 years did you age almost a decade backwards? Kris Jenner in 2022. It's like every year she's getting younger. To me, she literally looks like Kim now. It's just, how is nobody talking about this? First it was Martha Stewart, and now it's Kris Jenner. Is there something in the water? I would really, really like to know their secret to aging backwards. Come on, give me all your excuses in the comments section for how it is humanly possible for these celebrities to be aging backwards. Because honestly, for me, going from this to this is literally insanity.
I mean, just like we seen in the previous clip, if they're able to cut malicious genes out of your DNA, then, you know, what's to say that 70-year-old ladies can get their groove back, man? When your bank account is on infinite and you got the best cosmetic surgeon on speed dial, that's what it looks like.
We seem to be having a gin, DJIN, invasion here in the UK. Do you know anything about it? Lots of love, Sonia.
Okay, Sonia, great question. We've talked about the fact that at lower fourth density, there's a lot of garbage. Okay, a lot of garbage, a lot of bad hombres, a very, very rough frequency, kind of like the other side of the tracks kind of frequency. You have a lot of stuck energy, consciousness, spirits who are stuck in a victimhood thing, that as we moved our frequency, we would pass through this realm of this bunch. And the idea was that we would be moving through them in soul groups. Well, what's happening is that some are moving faster than the rest of their group. And as your consciousness, as you begin to raise your frequency and move into these realms, you're going to get their attention.
So all the iTrack fam in the UK, man, basically he's saying you guys got to tiptoe around them jinn now.
This is the most dangerous book in the world, and it's not just a legend. In the 8th century, a book was written that would become the most feared text in history. Its name, Al-Azif. The book was said to contain secrets of black magic so ancient, they predated humanity itself. It spoke of a jinn, a powerful otherworldly being, trapped in our world. But Al-Azif wasn't just a collection of myths. It contained detailed instructions on how to communicate with these beings. Many tried to destroy the book, but it always resurfaced, as if it had a will of its own. In the 19th century, a Yemeni poet named Hassan al-Mansur claimed to have found a copy of Al-Azif. He spent months studying its pages, learning its secrets. One night, Hassan performed a ritual described in the book. Witnesses said they heard whispers in a language no one could understand. The next morning, Hassan was gone. All that remained was his journal, filled with frantic scribbles. The last entry read, "I've seen the jinn. It showed me the truth. The book isn't just a guide, it's a prison. And now, I'm trapped too."
These are evil, evil people. You don't want to know what these people do, man.
This is Edward Reardon and his response after remote viewing Diddy.
This is stuff out of like the Aztec kingdom. You know, the Aztecs where they would have thousands of people lined up and they'd climb up the thing and they'd lay on an altar and they'd tear their heart out by a couple thousand a day. I mean, this is like that level of evil.
Who is the most powerful person in America?
Oh, I don't think anybody would probably know their name. You know, they're sort of behind the scenes. But certainly people who on this committee, like Admiral Wilson, now he was Deputy Director of CIA, then he was the Director of the National Security Agency, then he moved on to the board of, wait for it, Science Applications International Corporation.
Who's this?
Admiral Bobby Randman. So that's where the action is. I think the center of gravity isn't in the government at all.
Was Mr. Bush Sr. ever one of these high-ranking people that was on the inside, or no?
Oh, absolutely. George H.W. Bush?
Yes.
Yes, W, no. But George H.W. Bush, he was the one who threatened Bill Clinton. But stay quiet, there's none of your business. I have a witness to Mr. Clinton sharing that.
George H.W. Bush Sr.
Yes, it's none of your business, butt out. Because Mr. Clinton had stood up what's called Red Team. Red Team was a military special operation the blue team was conventional military, black team were these illegal operations. Clinton had authorized, I have a whole document on this, and these were people trying to infiltrate these illegal black projects, but most of them either got absorbed or killed. And eventually, George H.W. Bush said, back off. This is none of your business.
Did he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely he did. That's why they became fast friends.
Oh, listen to this.
As a scientist, do you believe in God?
Every description of God that I've heard holds God to be all-powerful and all good. And then I look around and I see a tsunami that killed 250,000 people in Indonesia. If there is a God, the God is either not all-powerful or not all good.
I came from China as an atheist. I believed nothing but science. I was studying the structure of eye in med school, and I realized that the human eye is so complicated. Trillions of cells has to line up perfectly for visual signal capturing and interpretation. If any one of those cells gets out of line, the person will be born blind. So I had a big problem. And the atheist me at the time, that how could so many cells form in such a short period of time out of randomness? So I kept on asking a professor, and he said, "Man, what's a cross street?" I said, that's a car. He said, "What's the difference between a car and a human eye?" I said, "Human eye is a lot more complicated." He said, "Okay, can you imagine how a random piece of metal form itself into a car?" I said, "No way." And he said, "How about human eye?" So right there, he opened a window in my life, making me realize that it was formed with a specific purpose for vision. So there's a designer, a creator behind that.
There are two questions I have to ask.
Go ahead.
The first one's kind of fun. Aliens. I want to talk to you about aliens.
Yeah.
UFOs, UAPs.
I know.
The disclosure we've seen in Congress recently. It's confusing and upsetting a lot of Americans because there's something happening. There are unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
So it's such an
a question I do get a lot, and it's such an interesting question. I've met with pilots that look just like you, actually. Okay, they have more of a crew cut. Okay, they look like him and they look like you. Some of them look like you,
a little fatter.
But these are perfect people.
Okay,
and they're not
crazy.
Conspiratorial. They're not crazy.
Yeah.
And they tell me stories that they've seen things that you wouldn't believe. These are not people that you would say, "Gee, oh, that's
No way.
okay."
President of the United States.
But
I said, was your
who
phone
is it?
silent?
That's Joe Biden wanting to do an interview. So I've met with pilots like beautiful Tom Cruise, but taller.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
handsome, perfect people. Sir, there was something there that was round in form and going like 4 times faster than my super jet fighter plane. And I look at these guys, and they really mean it.
Yeah.
And am I a believer? No, I can't say I am. But I have met with people that are serious people that say there's some really strange things that they see flying around out there. And, if you go to Nevada and you look at that little section of where they go to look at the aliens, where they think all the aliens are landing, that, it's one of, I think it's maybe the number one tourist attraction in the United States.
Roswell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roswell. I think it's the number one. It's the lines of people waiting. You have no idea how many times I'm asked that question.
But don't you have access to that information?
I have access, and I speak to people about it. I've had actually meetings on it, and they will tell you there's something going on. When they say things are going 4 times faster than my beautiful top-of-the-line airplane that goes, real fast.
With no identifiable propulsion
Mach
system.
2,
Yeah.
right?
These things are creating their own gravity fields, allegedly.
Well, they have people that are very smart and very solid have said they believe there is something out there. And, it makes sense that there could be. I've never been convinced, even despite that. I just, for some reason, it's not my thing. But a lot of people believe that it's true. A lot of very good, solid people believe it's true.
What? And
I know there are illegal aliens out there, but those are the ones that come through the border. We have plenty of that.
You know what? Despite all the stories he's heard, and he still doesn't believe, it makes you think, like, I don't think he would lie. I don't think he cares enough to lie about it. I think if he knew something, he would just say, I can't talk about it. But I don't know. That's an interesting topic. The fact that he feels no way about it. Let me know what you think.
I stopped saying we believe in God too.
Why?
That ain't good to say.
Why?
Because when you say you believe, that leaves room for doubt. Either you know it or you don't.
Oh no, I
so you know it. Ain't no I believe, I know.
I mean, but at the end of the day, you got people that don't believe.
I don't believe in nothing. I know some things.
Oh, I know some things too.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to tell y'all, people ain't know the Titanic sunk on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know, and they monetized.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say it's so much hidden knowledge, and people caught flack when I said this, but a lot of people liked it when I said that if the regurgitated version of the Bible that they gave us today helped black people or any people get out of their current situation, they would have never introduced it to us, which is true.
Right.
Because the Vatican has so much, like books, all type of architect. They have real knowledge that a lot of people ain't even ready for, but they give us this.
Right.
Anytime your enemy gives you something, it's not for your use, bro.
They gave us shackles.
That's all it is.
Wow.
And that's, see, listen, the Bible, like I say, the Bible is what keep broke people from killing rich people.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? That's the glue. You see what I'm saying?
What?
It's a belief system, bro. Everything is built around belief system.
What happened to this man is arguably one of the worst things that could ever happen to you. This is known as the 1,000-yard stare, and yes, all these photos are 100% real. These photos mainly occurring during World War I and II, but there is more recent examples, of course. Known as the 1,000-yard stare because of what their eyes are saying, you may also know this in forms of shell shock. Now, what actually causes this is seeing something very sudden and extremely traumatic, such as in the war, where you may see people dying right in front of you, or traumatic events that you wouldn't even be able to repeat. Essentially being in an emotional shock that puts your body into this state where you can barely function. You've probably heard stories back in the wars of shell shock victims and how they were treated so badly as well, because we didn't really know that much about mental health and what to actually do with these people. We'd never really seen anything like it before. Nowadays there's a lot more treatment for this, so people can get the help they need. It's still absolutely horrendous and can leave people in ways like this, causing many physical effects such as headache, confusion, dizziness, falling all over the place, stuttering of words, insomnia, extreme anxiety, and sometimes even paralysis. So if you ever see a video of someone like this, just imagine what they're going through.
This man talked to a real-life alien and got it all on camera.
In a leaked video that emerged on the internet, an alleged encounter between a man and an extraterrestrial being took place at an undisclosed location within a secret base in the United States.
This has got to be the realest footage I've ever seen before. The realest looking.
To the video's quality, the specific surroundings remain unidentified. It is believed that this encounter took place in 2017, although no official confirmation from the government has been provided. The video begins with a man standing a short distance away from what appears to be an extraterrestrial being, commonly referred to as a Grey. Both individuals face each other and maintain eye contact for several moments. The extraterrestrial's physical features resemble typical depictions of Greys: a hairless, pale grayish skin tone, large dark eyes, and a slight frame. The man remains calm throughout the encounter, showing no signs of distress or fear. Their interaction appears to be nonverbal, as no audible communication is captured in the leaked video. Despite this, their body language seems engaged and focused. The man and the extraterrestrial being exchange glances, perhaps attempting to convey meaning or understanding to one another. It is worth noting that any interpretation of their interaction remains speculative due to the lack of context provided. After a brief period of visual engagement, the man and the extraterrestrial reach out and...
If this isn't real, this is some of the best CGI I've ever seen. Let me know what you think in the comments and stay weird.
We are the first species.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention.
To be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are.
I know my ears must have deceived me, man, because I just heard her say that babies we eat. Was that a glitch in the Matrix? What's really going on?
Truth, you better wake up and find out, has been around you all of your life. You just didn't see it. Example, Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John Kennedy was elected to Congress 1946. Abe Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John Kennedy was elected president 1960. The names Lincoln and Kennedy both contain 7 letters. Both presidents were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both of the presidents' wives lost children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday in the head. President Lincoln's secretary was named Miss Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Miss Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, in 1939. Both assassins were known by 3 names: John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald. Both names are comprised of 15 letters. President Lincoln was shot in a theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car named Lincoln, made by Ford. John Wilkes Booth ran to a theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Booth and Oswald were both assassinated before they could go to trial. And a week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. A week before Kennedy was shot, he was with Marilyn Monroe.
This is the Vatican's darkest secret, and it's already in motion. Deep beneath the Apostolic Palace, in a chamber sealed since the 15th century, there is a book bound in human skin. Its pages contain the true deaths of every pope in history, not as the world knows them, but as fate has decreed. The book is called Liber Mortis Pontificum, the Book of Pontifical Death. Each page darkens as a pope's reign begins, slowly filling with ink that forms an image of their demise. John Paul II's page showed a bed, wreathed in light. Others are grotesque. Pope John the 21st page depicted a collapsing ceiling long before it crushed him in 1277. Pope Francis' page has been shifting for years. At first, it showed an old man in a white robe, kneeling in prayer. But in 2025, something changed. The image began to move. Now it shows Francis clutching his chest. Behind him, the Vatican collapses into the earth. At the bottom of the page, a line of text has appeared. Ultimus finis venit, the final end comes. But the true horror lies on the next page. It belongs to the 267th Pope, the last one. The page isn't blank, it's already complete. The image is a screaming figure in papal robes, half submerged in black water, as a burning city sinks beneath the waves. The date beneath it is clear: October 11th, 2026. A Vatican archivist who leaked the images claims the book is writing itself faster now, as if rushing toward an inevitable conclusion.
The Galactic Federation has confirmed they have finalized preparations to begin revealing themselves. Start looking up. March 2025, we will begin seeing them with more detail. And news outlets will begin to report of the crafts in our skies.
Yeah, let's get the best fucking. Yeah, what the is that? Holy shit. What the is it chasing?
has placed a temporary restriction on drone flights over Picatinny Arsenal and over Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster. When these drones were first spotted 2 weeks ago, the Morris County Prosecutor's Office said that they posed no known threat to public safety. But people want to know, what the heck are they and what are they doing? It's normal to see red and green lights unless they're coming from mysterious drones in the night sky.
It's kind of unsettling. Size of a car.
Mike Walsh says he's seen hundreds of them and has the video to prove it. Morristown police sent an alert to residents Sunday, and that if a drone crashes or lands, do not approach or handle it. The FBI's Newark field office would only say it is working with other law enforcement agencies to figure out what's going on, but at the moment doesn't have enough information to share.
A lot of people want to know what's going on. I think more people are coming around to that.
30 and 10:30, they're out here. Nobody ever sees them during the day.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories or follow us on social media.
Had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. So can you expand upon that? I said, no, I can't.
Everybody, so here's a strange one. Sometimes security cameras catch things that are easily explainable, but sometimes they don't. This might be one of those times. So this footage was captured on February 6, 2025 on a farm in El Salvador. A shadowy figure moves from left to right, and almost instantly you'll see the dogs react, like they sense something that we can't see. Watch closely. Now, skeptics might say this is just a trick of the light, but what if it's not? So you'll remember last year, whistleblowers like David Grush and lawmakers like Anna Paulina Luna spoke publicly about interdimensional beings. Could this be evidence of something beyond our visible reality? What do you think? Is it a glitch, a shadow, or is it something else? So drop your theories below. Let's try and figure this out.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Look, you guys! Hả?
I ain't gonna lie, that did look creepy, and if it was CGI, they did a great job. But let me know what you think.
This is a hologram of matter. This is holographic 15-dimensional time matrix. When we talk about different universes, they're holographic universes. All of this is a hologram. Not outside. This is outside. You see the 15? It ends right there. The time matrix ends. And so outside is the cosmos fields, which is, you see, 3 levels of cosmos. Cosmos is obviously bigger than universes. This is what's important to understand. How part of God, you could say, is distorted. How part of God can become shadow. Some people use the word evil.
So I know everyone's on the Diddy case right now, but does anybody realize that CERN, the Hadron Collider, just alchemized lead into gold? Gold. That's a big deal.
Okay, so I've been baffled as to why I was told from the 14th of March to tell all of my friends and family that I care about to cover their mouth when they go outside. But now we know. So there is a airborne fungi, okay, that is deadly. Okay, straight out of the film The Last of Us, which I've never watched, but from the title, I'm guessing that it's bad. So apparently the reason why it is spreading now is because of rising temperatures around the globe. But my question is, why hasn't it travelled in the hotter countries before? Why are we just hearing about it now? So it's called Aspergillus or something like that. I don't really mind about butchering a deadly mold's name. But yeah, it's called Aspergillus, and it gives respiratory, serious respiratory and brain issues. This fungi is not fun at all. Now apparently, it's the temperatures in the UK that are allowing the Aspergillus to spread. The temperatures, not anybody else, okay? Not like COVID. So apparently, this fungi that is not fun at all is going to affect people that already have respiratory issues. So people that have asthma, that kind of thing. But the people that had the, yeah, you're f***ed. Yeah, definitely. Because a lot of you have been left with respiratory issues. It almost seems like this fungi has come to finish off the job that didn't. But anywho, entertainment purposes only, but this is happening. So this is the part that's really getting me. These spores apparently can be delivered to your door. And that's what it says in the article you'll see. So they can travel across vast distances. And a university in Geneva stated that it can survive the stratosphere, which is an area 10 kilometers above the Earth's surface. So, yeah. So these spores can travel across continents without an airplane, without a boat, without anything. They can travel across continents. They've never done it before, but they seem to be doing it now, okay?
In the world of government conspiracies, few stories are as shocking as Phil Snyder's. Born in 1947, Snyder claimed to be a geologist and engineer who worked on something truly extraordinary. Deep underground military bases, or DUMBs, for the US government. But it was what allegedly happened in August 1979 that would change everything. While working on a base beneath Dulce, New Mexico, Snyder claimed his drilling team accidentally broke into an underground cavern, occupied by extraterrestrials. What followed, according to Snyder, was a violent firefight between humans and gray aliens. Snyder himself was allegedly hit by an alien weapon, losing several fingers and suffering a chest wound, as one of only 3 survivors. Snyder claimed this underground base was part of a vast network, where the government conducted secret experiments with alien technology. He further alleged that gray aliens were controlling world leaders. After going public with his claims in the 1990s, Schneider survived 13 attempts aimed at ending his lectures. During one of his final appearances, Phil stated,
"I might live 6 months, I might not."
6 months later, in 1996, Phil Schneider's lectures came to an end. Official documents declared he ended them on his own, but his supporters believe he was silenced for revealing forbidden secrets.
Any story but I can remember in school, witches were bad.
Yeah, that's what they teach you. So you don't tap into your power. Why would I tell you that I'm doing a spell on you? I'm going to tell you that spells are bad so that I can do it on you. That's how I feel like society manipulates people, because it's been sensationalized. Like, oh, witchcraft is bad, witchcraft is this, but they're doing witchcraft on you. So yeah, we're all under a spell.
Explain that. Who is who?
The government.
The government's doing witchcraft on people.
Yeah, our money has sigils on it. If you look at the dollar, first of all, it's a dead president on it. It's an ancestor. Okay. Off the rip, right? So when you look at the different pyramids and certain lines and how they print their money, it's all a spell. It's all a ritual, right? So every time you touch money, even psychologically, when you're thinking about money, it is all outlined to you. Subliminal, everything. Everything you watch is subliminal when you think about it. Your music is subliminal. You know, the 808s, all the beats, everything. They are 100% controlling us. Yes. So if you know that you're being controlled, now you can't be controlled anymore. But if you don't know, they can continue to control you. And that's what's happening to everyone.
Why do cats have snake eyes when big cats don't? Buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you will change the way you see your cat forever. Cats weren't just worshipped by the ancient Egyptians because they were cute or good luck. No. What if I told you they were worshipped because they hold the key to one of the greatest conspiracies of all time? A mind control conspiracy that spans millennia. And it's happening right now, even to you. None of the big cats, like lions or tigers, have those slitted pupils. So why do house cats, the small ones, have reptilian eyes like snakes, creatures that ancient cultures also worshipped? This wasn't just a coincidence. In fact, what if those ancient Egyptians knew something about cats that we've forgotten, something much darker? There's this little parasite called T. gondii, and he's the most successful parasite on the planet. 1 to 2/3 of humans are infected. Yeah, that means it's highly likely you've already got it right now. But here's the kicker. This parasite can live in many hosts, like rats or even humans, but it can only complete its life cycle in one animal, cats. That's right, your cat is the final destination for this mind-controlling parasite. And get this, it actually rewires the brains of its hosts to make them behave recklessly. Rats, for example, lose their fear of cats when they're infected, practically walking right into the cat's mouth. But what does this have to do with humans? Well, studies suggest that T. gondii doesn't just affect rats, it can manipulate human behavior too, causing increased sensation seeking and addiction. And ever wonder why people become so weirdly obsessed with cats? What if it's not just because they're cute? What if it's because this parasite has subtly been influencing human behavior for thousands of years? Why have cat videos always been a part of viral internet media? Remember, ancient Egyptians didn't just keep cats around, they worshipped them. Maybe they were onto something, or maybe they were under the influence of something they couldn't see. But here's where things get really wild. You've heard about, in Egypt, they had Bastet, a goddess with the head of a cat. But what if the cat wasn't just symbolic? What if those ancient Egyptians knew that cats weren't just ordinary animals? Black cats in particular were seen as sacred. And here's the real conspiracy. What if black cats aren't just cats at all? What if they're interdimensional beings slipping into our reality from other dimensions, taking the form of sleek, silent felines? Why else do we associate black cats with witches? There have been countless reports of shadowy figures in the form of black cats appearing in paranormal encounters. And what if parasites are the physical hosts for demons? So, the next time your cat stares at you with those snake eyes, just remember, it's not just a pet, it's a part of something much bigger, something ancient, something that might just be controlling you in ways you can't even imagine. And maybe Just maybe that purring on your lap isn't as innocent as it seems.
I listen to a lot of things. First, I want to connect some dots here because they are connected, okay? When Donald Trump was on the Joe Rogan podcast, they had a conversation about aliens. Not the ones Trump wants to deport, okay? The ones from other planets. Let's listen.
There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things that
There's a lot of interest in the people coming from space, you know.
Yes.
And I know you're interested in that.
Oh, very interested in that. How much did they tell you about that?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd they tell you?
Well, it's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I interviewed jet pilots that say they saw something. And they said, we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane, you know.
That's dot one. But there's a man named Cliff High. You should Google Cliff High. He is a researcher known for developing a technique called predictive linguistics, which involves analyzing internet data to predict future events. And based off that conversation with President Trump and Joe Rogan, he predicted a future event. Let's listen.
But what we do have some justification for suggesting is that there will be 39 days between the temporal marker of the Trump interview and the appearance of this visible contention. The visible contention, space aliens. Okay, so
What happened?
Sort of very complex kind of Independence Day kind of shit, right? Nobody will know who the hell is doing what with whom. Now, so anyway, now we have a strange thing where there's swarms of 20-foot drones flying around military bases. So unknown. Nobody knows who owns these drones, who's controlling them. At least they're not telling us guys.
Now, my whole life, 1 + 1 has equaled 2. But then I heard Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan, and regardless of what he thinks about math, 1 + 1 still equals 2. Trump and Rogan had this conversation. Cliff High, who previously predicted the 2004 Indonesian tsunami, stated that an alien invasion will be triggered 39 days after Trump's appearance on Joe Rogan. Trump's interview took place on October 25th, 2004, marking the start of the countdown. We first started seeing these SUV-sized drones on December 3rd. Either we are in the midst of one of the greatest social experiments of all time, one of the greatest pranks of all time, or we being invaded by aliens. Okay, according to Cliff High, the alien invasion will involve air battles between UFOs and military forces, with UFOs even engaging in combat among themselves. Listen, I don't know what's happening. I just know that White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby is telling us these SUV-sized drones are manned aircraft. It's not one, it's not two, it's not several, it's a lot of them. One of my peoples in Jersey sent me a video last night of 8 of them over her neighborhood. If this is manned aircraft, then whose mans is this? Okay, who are these men? Are they little and green? And why are we okay with what's happening? Kirby, your statement didn't answer any questions. For me, it raised even more because I'm a common sense purist. This is what happens when they keep us looking down at our phones. We are slaves to the lies that our smartphones tell us, and it causes us to ignore the realities all around us. You can call people like Cliff High crazy. You can call them a conspiracy theorist, but I don't see it being a coincidence that he predicted an alien invasion would happen 39 days after Trump's appearance on Joe Rogan, when they was on there talking about aliens, and then all of a sudden, flying SUVs are all over New Jersey. Why are they just flying over our residential areas? What if they crash into our houses? What's the mission? Is this even lawful? Why wasn't the public informed about these operations ahead of time? Look, man, American government, it's okay to be honest with the American people. Just admit either you don't know what's going on up there, or you do, and it's not something you want us to know about. Because all Black Twitter gonna do is make jokes anyway. Okay, the American people are not going to care unless you tell us it's the Kardashians and Taylor Swift up there driving one of those SUV-sized drones. Look, we can avoid reality, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. I don't know what reality currently is, and I don't know what the consequences of avoiding it will be. But I just want us to be aware of what our current reality truly is. Please give White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby the biggest hee-haw.
Hey, now Charlemagne spoke nothing but truth about that. You know, got us staring down at our phones, but got to look up sometimes because it's a lot going down. And another great point was either we're in the middle of the greatest social experiment or we're really being invaded, and it's like real low key. You know what I mean? So let me know what you think. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys for stopping by on this beautiful Sunday and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me, man. It does wonders for the channel and for the video, man. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join the iTrack fam, and I will definitely catch you guys on the next one.